Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Lead, Sell, Grow, the Human Experience Podcast. Super grateful for you guys for joining me another week. And if you haven't done so yet, join the Facebook group, Lead, Sell, Grow, the Human Experience Mastermind. Would love to connect with you in there. So, this show, I'm going to talk about 5 things on how to become a little more productive. Okay. I heard some motivational speakers say, and I wrote this down. He said, he's never seen anybody who works hard at the bottom. I thought about that. He's like, I've never seen anybody who works hard at the bottom. So lesson one, don't listen to anything without thinking for yourself. Like, is that true or is it not true? Right? Like, is that my truth? Now, I grew up in former USSR. I've seen my parents work really, really hard. As a matter of fact, I've seen my neighbors work really, really hard. None of them were at the top. As a matter of fact, they were all close to the bottom. That's what communism does. Keeps everybody close to the bottom except for the elites and the government, right? If you look at countries like Mexico, China, Southeast Asia, there are so many hardworking people there. They are not at the top. As the United States as a country, there are hardworking people here. You can look at us, and the poorest people are some of the hardest working. It's not about how hard you work, it's about how hard you work towards the right things. Let me repeat that. It's not about how hard you work, it's about how hard you work towards the right things. So let me kick it off. I'll give you guys 5 things we can do to maximize our time and get exactly what we want out of life, right? Hopefully you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're in sales, maybe you're a leader, and there's a goal you're trying to achieve. If you're not striving for something, I challenge you to kind of ask yourself why. Like, what's the purpose of life for you? Right? Everything else in nature, the whole purpose is to grow to its fullest potential. And if you don't have something to grow into, maybe you should consider doing it. I'm telling you what, when I did, life became exciting. It's like I enjoy waking up early in the morning just so that I can get my day started and work towards my goal. All right, so here we go. Number one thing we need to work on in order to achieve our goal is our mental state. That's our foundation, right? Like, my kids are both playing soccer. They're in travel soccer. Sometimes you see a kid start running out on the field and his cleats are untied. What do? First thing they do is they stop, they tie their cleats. Not all the kids, but the smart ones do. The reason they do that is because they can't play a great game. They can't run as fast as they possibly can with a shoestring that's hanging loose, right? God forbid they step on it, they trip over it. It's a hazard. And so what I notice quite a few entrepreneurs doing is they'll just wake up, they're already in a rush, they're reacting to their day, their mindset's not right, yet they're going out there with that in that state of mind. So if you wake up and you find yourself not in the best of moods, you find yourself a little down, maybe depressed, what do you do in those cases, right? Do you even know that you probably should not go see clients? Do you know that you probably should not start working if you're in that state of mind? Now, I'm not saying go back to sleep and forget about it and wait till you're happy to get to work, because that's a recipe for disaster in itself. But what I am saying is it's your duty to get yourself out of that state of mind. So like Tony Robbins will do, he'll start jumping up and down and saying, I love myself to change the state. I tried it. I got to tell you, it works. Another thing I like to do, rampage of gratitude. Set a timer for 2 minutes, start writing out everything you're grateful for. And if you don't feel like you have something to be grateful for, be grateful that you woke up. Be grateful that you have something to write with and write on. Be grateful you have a roof under your head. Be grateful you got all your limbs. Be grateful you can breathe. Be grateful for your health. Be grateful for your friends, your family. You see where I'm going? And as I start saying it, my energy picks up, because we cannot, it's impossible to be in a state of gratitude and a state of fear or a state of lack at the same time. Now, knowing this, you can put yourself into the state of gratitude at any time you want. Like, anytime you're feeling low, you can pop out of it by doing this exercise. Do not waste another second in a low state of mind. The world needs you operating from a higher state. The other piece with the mindset, is what's called imposter syndrome, right? I recently heard Ed Milet and Lewis House have an interview, and it's amazing. These guys have influenced millions and millions of people. Both of them say they still have imposter syndrome. So if those two dudes who've accomplished so much still experience imposter syndrome, there's no doubt in my mind that you as a sales pro, you as a business owner are experiencing that on some level. I know I do. As soon as it's time for me to make a video or even a podcast like this, I'm past that point now. But before it was like, well, who's going to listen? Why am I even, who am I to even give advice, right? All these stupid thoughts that don't serve us go through our mind. And a lot of times it stops us from taking action, or we half-ass it. We don't go at it 100%. So if you're feeling like you have imposter syndrome, if you're a business owner, do you have Google reviews? Right? Go take a look at your Google reviews. Perhaps you have some of your clients who have said some things about you and gave you recommendations on your LinkedIn profile. Go read those. And if you have nobody who's ever said anything nice about you or thanked you for what you've done for them, then write out some things that you're proud of. Like, what does qualify you to do what you're doing? Why are you good? Why are you worthy of doing it? Write it out, read it, get your mind right, get that foundation built before you go out there. All right. So that's number one. That's mindset. Number two, clarity of vision. Clarity of vision. Like tomorrow, my family and I, we're going to go on a cruise. We know we got to be at Fort Lauderdale. I know I'm going to drive from here where I am in Florida to Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to park my car. I know the ship. I know the destinations. There's no doubt in my mind where I'm going to end up. I'm going to end up on a ship heading towards our destinations on this cruise. Absolutely no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. Why? Because there's clarity. I bought tickets. I know where it's going. And we can do the same thing for our day. We can do the same thing for our goals. We can design them before we ever take action on them, right? But most people don't. Most people never ever do. And so we tend to forget that we are creators of our own future. Like we have the ability to create anything we want. Anything we desire, we can create. So how do you do that? How do you get clear? Well, write it down. Take a journal, start writing. Hey, what do I want to accomplish? What does it look like? What will that look like once it's done? How many people are there? How much income am I making? How many people am I helping? What am I doing? What's my right? Start just doodling it out. Get it out of here, out of that thin air, and put it on paper. That's your first move. See it in your mind. I think a lot of people don't know how to think. We just don't know how to think. It's hard to think. And what I ask you to do is schedule time to think. Sometimes first in the morning, just, hey, 15 minutes to think about my future. Imagine how much further you will be if you add thinking time to your day, intentional thinking time, visualization time. It's a game changer, guys. I promise you. All right. Number three, sometimes we see this thing we need to do as a huge mountain. It's overwhelming. There's so many different tasks you have to do. It's so big. Like there's no way, there's no way the person you are today will ever achieve that huge goal. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to acquire new partnership and you build new friendships in order to achieve that big goal. And we don't know where to start. And so what happens? We don't take any action. We just freeze. We know we can't do it at that point and get a new idea and go for that idea. And what I'm asking you to do is not do that, right? If you're seeing a mountain, right, just think of how would you eat an elephant? And most of you have heard this before, right? Well, you break it down into bite-sized pieces. So no matter what mountain you're attacking, as a coach, I do this exercise with some of my clients. It's called the history of your future. It's a great exercise, but you don't need a coach for it. You can do it yourself. And a simple question is, once again, get a journal out. I'm big on writing this stuff out. You get out a journal and you ask yourself, if everything went exactly how I wanted it to go, and 12 months from now, I've achieved this goal, I climbed this mountain, what will I have had to accomplish along the way to do that? Who would I need to build relationships with? You just start making a list. And what you're actually doing is making a small task list or breaking that big goal into micro goals. Well, I need to build a relationship with so-and-so. I need to earn X amount. I need to take these steps. And then once you have that built, you can look at it and say, okay, well, how do I prioritize this? What's the first thing I should go after here? Right. And now you start seeing a picture. You broke it down, it's on paper. Now, instead of going after the mountain, you're going after step one. And that is so much easier to do than go after it all at once. As a matter of fact, when I was writing my book, this book behind me called B2B Sales Secrets, for those of you who knew me in high school, the last thing you would have bet on is that I would have ever written a book. I don't think I've ever written a paper in high school. I was a knucklehead. Got expelled 3 different years: 7th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Expelled, not suspended. I can't even tell you how many times I've been suspended. Knucklehead growing up. For me to write a book, it's like you might as well tell me I'm going to space, you know? So when I was writing the book, it was very overwhelming for me. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how long to do it. But one commitment I made is that every single day, no matter how I felt, I was going to write at least 400 pages, 400 words. That's it. The minimum every single day was 400 words. Now, there were days where I only wrote 400 words. I would count. It was so brutal. I didn't want to write that day, but I got my 400 words. Then there were days I wrote 5,000 words. This book has about 56,000 words in it, and it took me a few months to do, but it took breaking it down to small bite-sized pieces. And if I can do it, I guarantee you can do it. All it takes is a little bit of thinking time to plan out exactly what your next moves are. Number 4, schedule your time. Like right now, it's what, March something. I'm sure most of us had these grandiose goals that we set up, right? These New Year's resolutions. And we're going to eat healthier. We're going to work out. We're going to read, a book a week. We're going to spend more time with family and all this stuff. And then just never happens. Well, let me ask you something. If you're in that boat, right? Like if that sounds like you, did you schedule the time? Like, did you say, I'm going to spend more time with my family? Did you put that in your calendar? I'm going to go work out more. Did you put that in your calendar? I'm going to eat healthier. Did you put that in your calendar? Did you actually create a step-by-step plan? Chances are you didn't. And that's why it fell by the wayside. There was absolutely no commitment on your part. And so as soon as you start coming up with these small tasks, when you break down a big goal into small tasks, get your get shit done list, right? Like every day, what are the 4 or 5 things you should do towards that small goal, and schedule them, put them in your calendar. When do I actually have time to do this? And then stay committed to what you scheduled. All right. The last thing I'm going to, number 5, and that's the last one, is establish a team. You're going to need a team. Anybody who's accomplished anything great has never done it by themselves. You're going to need a team, whether it's external, internal, whether it's, hiring people on Fiverr could be a part of your team, whether it's a mastermind group. Like right now, I'm in the process of creating group coaching. I'll tell you why. My coaching services are $3,000 a month. So for anybody who hires me as their coach, I charge $3,000 a month. And not a lot of people can afford that. So I want to help more entrepreneurs. So what I decided to do is create a group coaching scenario where it's super affordable. $47 a month. There's going to be 5 30-minute time slots with me one-on-one, a lot of Q&As, some teachings in a group, networking. Like I'm creating some really, really cool stuff. But I need a team. I need a team for this. So Julia came on board. I created a mastermind group. I reached out to others who have communities who are way better at it than I am, like people like Tony Van Schoik, Barb Allen, Mike Fallett, Anthony Russo, Martha Craigie. I got Jose Escobar, who's got, Connected Leaders Academy. That's got over 250 people. I called each one up and I said, hey, listen, I'm creating a mastermind group to see how we could do better at building groups. Would you like to join? They said, absolutely. We all need help. We've been getting together for a couple of months now. And the ideas from that group, just, hey, what are you doing with your group? What are you doing with your group? The ideas are just flowing, and I'm getting so many good ideas because of the people I've surrounded myself with. So I encourage you, build your team. Don't do it on your own. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. I know it's a short one. I want to wish you a good day and thank you for tuning in and listening. If you liked it, hit subscribe, share this episode, and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of it. Maybe there are some things that you would add to my list of 5. Would love to hear about them. And once again, thank you. I appreciate you and hope you have an awesome day.